Hey, I want to welcome you to a very special episode of the Connect podcast. I'm Pastor Cole Phillips. This is my good friend, student pastor, Rowdy Lind, and we are on location at Twin Oaks Retreat Encampment Center.
Yeah.
So this is where Connection Church has all of our student camps, our kids camps, burgers and baptism. We do some other things out here, right?
Kids camps, men's advance.
We do men's advance. So lots of good things that happen right here. And we thought we would bring you here to be a part of our camp experience this week because it's so exciting. This has been an incredible week of growth, of faith, of fun, of changed lives. And we're here to talk all about it and bring you into the excitement, bring you into the action. And Rowdy, you've been here, man. You've been here for each and every moment since you guys got here on Saturday afternoon. Right now, we're Tuesday. You may be seeing this on Wednesday, but regardless, it's been a week. What has been, how's camp life treating you so far?
Camp life is treating me well. It's definitely feeling it. I mean, I think we were talking about my wife and I. This is, I think, 11 or 12 years of camps.
Yeah.
Give or take, maybe some.
Wow.
And I definitely feel it a lot more.
It's incredible.
Just in like my knees and in my body. But it's been awesome. It has been just a life change and things that have been taking place. I know you've been on site for a little bit of it as well. It's been so cool. And so those moments definitely, those help, kind of intercept any of the physical pain of just roughness and but yeah, late nights, early mornings, it's awesome.
You didn't really grow up going to camp, did you?
I did not. No. I was just talking to some of our team and just so thankful for you and Pastor Pam's heart for young people. We talked about this, you and I, last night. You kind of set up the vision for what this looks like as far as youth camps. And it was not a thing for me. It was not a thing at all. And you guys are passionate. We are passionate now about camps. And I absolutely love camp season. We do two a year for our youth. And it's the greatest time. But yes, I didn't grow up in church. I didn't grow up in church camps, especially.
Yeah, I mean, some of the greatest moments of my life were spent at camp as a kid, as a teenager. I can tell you story after story. Some of the funniest moments of my life, biggest decisions of my life were made at camp. In fact, one story I like to tell was that when I accepted the call to ministry at a youth camp at Mount Lebanon in the Dallas area it was the summer after my freshman year. And I just, I remember thinking at the time, camp, it's so much fun. If I become a youth pastor, then I'll get to go to camp every single summer for the rest of my life. And here we are still at camp right now. We're here. So of course it turned out to be a lot more than just summer camps and things like that. Sure. But man, it's been good. In fact, Pam and I were actually at the same camps even before we met. And so, you can meet the, your spouse, you can, and some of that happens, but big things happen. What's been the energy that's been happening here?
Yeah, this is probably the most, and I'm going to use the word intense, but I mean that in the most positive way, spiritually intense camp I feel like that we've experienced with teenagers, with young people. There's just right now, especially a revival of sorts that is taking place. Young people are more passionate and eager and expectant and open to hearing really the truth. I don't think it's necessarily Jesus, and maybe there's some statistics supporting that, but I think they're just so excited to hear the truth. And we know that the truth is found in Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus is the truth.
Yeah, so they're excited and just ready to hear about it and what he can do in their lives, and they're just so open. So that's been super exciting. Energy has been through the roof. The morning sessions, which if you're in student ministry or kids camps, morning sessions can be a little not as lively as the night sessions. And they have been so responsive. We actually had the unique experience this year, I think, for the first time, as far as me leading the student ministry, actually live stream Sunday service from the chapel where we're
Yeah.
at right now. And so they're watching on this screen a church service, and I'm texting you and
Yeah.
texting some of the team, and it's like they're in the building. It
Incredible.
was incredible. So energy is, they're expectant and they're excited to continue to see God move in their lives.
Yeah. And so we have about 190 total out here.
Yes. Yeah.
And we couldn't fit 190 extra people in the 10:30 service for sure.
Right.
Not the 9, maybe the noon.
Right.
Maybe we could pack out the noon service with those people. But yeah, that really added to our services this week. And so we just stayed out here at camp. I'm amazed that we could fit 190 people into this chapel. This is, a pretty tight space, but I think it adds to the energy again and the excitement. So I want to hear some of the stories. I want to talk about why camp can be one of the most powerful weeks of a student's life. And we're just going to have some fun over the next few minutes, as long as we have good connectivity. That's the thing. We're out here at camp. We're in the middle of the country. Actually, we're in the middle of Buda, but it feels like we're in the middle of the country. So what is the theme? Do we have a theme for this year?
We don't have a theme.
I mean, I see freedom a lot.
Right. Yeah. So the theme is the gospel, essentially.
Okay.
Okay, Rowdy, we get it. Like, it's a church camp.
That's not a bad theme.
So what we've really just been impressing on students and our leaders is you get a chance for the next 4 days to leave this camp saying, I've never been closer to Jesus than I am right now. And so that's kind of been just, and we're telling our team, and you say this a lot too to our team as well. Like, we're not going this at camp. We're just bringing the increase as far as the level and the expectancy. This is going to be a momentum carrier for us through the school year.
Yeah, yeah.
And we don't believe in these camp highs anymore. I think we've seen a kind of a getting away from that. Teenagers are getting excited, and so excited that they're sharing their friends.
Yeah.
Shock. Telling them
about it's like it just propels. It can propel you forward. Right. I mean, you think about that in a year. If a kid goes to church every Sunday, for a year, 52 hours, and then maybe youth, another 52 hours. So that's 100, 104 hours. Well, we're doing that many hours right here this week, and really, yeah. So the gospel, you said the theme is the gospel, which means the good news. It's the story of Jesus. It's the full package of what he came to do, to give his life, to die and to rise again, and to bring us into a right relationship with God, to rescue us from our sin. But I heard a new thought, and I haven't fleshed it out completely, but it was somebody speaking, and I was trying to figure out what's he talking about. I can't remember who it was, but he was talking about gospel, go spell, saying like go tell, go spell it out by sharing it with people, with your life, spell it out, go spell. It was kind of a strange thought, maybe a stretch, but it was interesting.
Yeah.
At this point, some very few things kind of surprised me. Like, what is that? I'm so interesting thought. So how about what you feel like the students have really, is there something else you feel like they've been learning or really grasping onto this week?
Yeah, I think really a lot of our students are dealing with, and we're kind of doing some response moments in a lot of our messages, especially in the night sessions. I think really the big takeaway is God loves you. So he sent his son down the cross for you. But you also have adults who have been down the road a little farther than you have or are right now, that care about you and love you so much. And I think for a large amount of these students, they don't get that. They don't understand that. They don't get that. A lot of identity issues, a lot of what voices are speaking into their lives. And so they're walking in with all this stuff. That's easy for us to say it's not that big of a deal, but it's wrecking their life.
Sure.
And so we're seeing
things. I mean, we've been teenagers ourselves,
right.
Things are just heightened and intensified.
Yeah,
in those years.
So what comes out in a little drama spell at camp between girl campers is a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding now, and our team has been so stinking intentional, and I love every second of it. Not that we're not always, but there's been a heightened level of intentionality in the sense of like, go talk to your camp leader, go talk to your cabin leader. Like that's what this time is for. Sure, pranks and all the other stuff, right? But like, let's pray together. Let's get it. Let's
Yeah. Speaking of the pranks, I just want to say, like, it's so frustrating as a student pastor that you get everybody to camp and you have these incredible spiritual experiences, life-changing moments, and then when the camp is over, kids go home and the parents say, "What happened at camp?" And they're like, "Oh, you're not going to believe it," and they tell you this, the stupidest thing. They tell you about the pillow fight in the room, or and it's like, no. There's so much more to it than that. Has there been a standout worship moment or teaching moment so far?
Well, this doesn't include all the campers, but we kind of started the other decent sized rocks, meaning like boulders almost. And that was just a powerful way to start off the morning. Some young men some of them are going to college, they've graduated. Some of them are stepping into senior year, 17 to 18 years old. And these young women, it's just been so cool to watch this morning. I get up there and I've got the markers and I've got the permanent markers and the Post-it notes. And so they get up to the top field and they beat me there. They're walking slowly and they're holding these heavy rocks. Why are we doing this? It's burdens you aren't meant to carry. And then the cross, obviously, picking up your cross daily if you want to follow Jesus. And so walking them up, they get there and they put the cross on the field and then they kind of just by themselves put the big rocks in a circle almost. So what are some bold prayers? What are some things you've been scared to ask God for because you don't know if it's even possible? I'm not going to be ashamed to pray this and ask God that he would do this. So that's been super cool.
Yeah. That's incredible.
And it didn't involve a LED screen.
It's just like the stuff, the basic stuff of
grab a rock,
organic
it was awesome.
things. Yeah. Taking it literally. What if Jesus literally meant take up your cross and follow me? And there they experienced a bit of that. So I've seen students who have been laughing. I've seen students crying. I've seen students praying. Can you think of another story maybe around some of that you would like to share with us about that?
We have the team chants.
I wanted to talk about that. Yeah.
On that. So
no, we can talk about it. Let's talk about the chants. So they had the competition last night.
Yeah.
It was intense, man. It was great.
It was awesome. I got people that aren't even at this camp, but are Christians and are part of our church and couldn't make it, or part of another church and friends in different areas. And they're messaging me on Instagram this morning and last night, like, the team that did the flip won. How much did they pay you? And I'm like, well, I didn't judge, and I didn't judge for that reason. But we did have one of the best and greatest guest judges.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, really, I don't know if anybody's going to see this, but blue team got the short end of the stick, let's just say.
Okay.
They did really great, but somehow a group of judges said, we're going to go with the yellow team.
Yeah.
Very exciting. The red team, not so exciting. But then when it was the finals, the playoffs there, the chant-offs or whatever, you had yellow and red, and in a surprising upset, the red ended up taking it.
Okay.
Yeah, but they all have such excitement. You see teamwork, you see love for each other, and these friendships that are being built. And that's what's so incredible about that. What do you think is something that people, they don't see about camp from the outside, but it makes it so life-changing when you're here in the moment?
Life-changing.
I mean, people don't necessarily, recognize it perhaps, but
here on site, or people that
aren't here. They're not here.
Yeah.
So they don't see this.
So what do you do with that? Yeah, for sure. With our teenagers, like so we kind of strategically place this. So we'll end, again, this is Tuesday. You may be watching this on Wednesday. So Wednesday night is youth night for us. And so we strategically place that with something we call Invite
That's
Night.
so good.
And we theme it. We throw a bunch of giveaways and excitement and promo at it. And so what we tell our teenagers is your friends are going to show up to youth. They were not at camp, whether They wanted an overnight spot and we were on wait list, or they were out of town or whatever the case is. Well, they're back now. What you're carrying, your job in that is, how do you get them to understand and comprehend what took place?
Yeah.
Because there can be, if you're not careful, there can be a mix of like,
Sure.
what is happening here, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
there for 4 days.
I missed
I wasn't
out.
removed. Yeah. And so
FOMO.
a little bit of that, I think maybe that's unhealthy and not okay to say as a youth pastor. But I do like that you feel like you missed out, because what is that? Hopefully,
Yeah.
a
You
sign
want
of
to
grace
get
for the
in
next
on it.
week. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
If it
don't
leads you
want
to
them
that.
to miss out, but we treat it as if it's an extension of camp.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Get them in on it.
And so how do we make that happen? Well, we throw everything at it too. And they're coming in with their teams and they're excited and they're telling all their stories. So their friends are excited. And that's a huge part of what do we do. And so really with our messaging, as far as sermons and communication, it's a lot of camp, what happened at camp, making them feel like, here's a video, here's a recap. Man, I was a part of that. Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know all that went into it. The way my mom sold it to me, or I don't do church camps, like, oh, that's totally different. So they get a sneak peek on that and hopefully jump into our winter camp or our summer camp next year. So yeah, catching them up to speed in that time, it's fun and it's interesting, and you got to be strategic with it. But that's one way that we set that up.
Yeah. Well, one of the great things about camp is you're cutting out the world, you're cutting out distractions, you're cutting out the phones,
Yeah.
you're cutting out the notifications, all the stuff, and being able to focus in on what's most important, on God, on his purpose for your life.
Yeah.
And through that, it opens this door to make this rapid progress in your walk with God. So let's zoom out for a minute, because it's not just a fun week that we're having.
Right.
It is a launching pad for faith in these kids' lives. So what have you seen over the years in terms of a step by step from some students? Have you seen that in, like, I'm thinking of some of our graduating seniors,
Right.
and they've been doing this camp for quite a few years. What have you seen God do in their life as a progression over the years?
For sure, the word reverence has been thrown around a lot. They're really quick to have fun within the allotted times for having fun. And then when it's time to worship, when it's time to get in group time, when it's time to get in these discussions that are presenting themselves, they jump into it. And that's been huge, just watching them. Cool, we'll jump around and we'll do these things, but having a group, especially like our summer interns coming in, knowing like they've kind of, they're bearing that, like that's their responsibility. Like, hey, we're gonna not do this, right? Even the little bit of gossip that takes place, at camp, and you're getting on each other's nerves and all this stuff. They're now like, hey, we handled it, but we want to let you know. And they're letting group leaders. And so we've seen that, which also deters any of that from even stepping into a place of a worship center or in a group time. And so for sure, the reverence and the respect for the moment, but also being aware of, like, I'm watching as young people are praying for young people. That doesn't get old. It doesn't. Yeah. Watching young people pray over their friends who know what they're going through, that stuff doesn't get old. And so that's been huge. And of course, our adult leaders are doing that too. But when you watch a 17-year-old pray for a 14-year-old, it changes the game. And it allows you to see, like, man, I'll put up with not sleep until 3 a.m. I'll get over the other junk. And so it's been super awesome. Those have been really, really cool, powerful moments.
Yeah. Yeah. How would you, maybe you've already done this, I don't want to just retread, but if you say the vision for this week, like for camp in general, like this is what we're trying to do in a week with students.
What are we trying to do in a week with students? Yeah, I think the heart of any camp is, we say that, but we've really just been saying it this camp is, are you going to be able to say, July 30th, leaving camp, like I truly am closer to Jesus than I've ever been in my entire life. And I remember what it felt like to not be that close, and it sucked. Yeah. It was terrible, and I never want to feel that again. It's down to the simple Bible drill that you were a part of during all the meal.
That was great.
Super fun. You make it competitive, you get excited, but you do a game that's that simple, where it's like John 3:16, find it in your Bible. No Bible times, no, just getting familiar with God's word and finding it is huge.
Well, last night when I spoke, I had that $20 bill, and I was making the illustration. I was doing the illustration, like, no matter what I do to this $20 bill, it still holds its value and worth the same with your life. You have this value from God.
Yep.
Even though you've been trampled on, you've been crushed, you still retain your value.
Right.
And then I wanted to give that $20 bill away. And so I thought, I was thinking some trivia question about secret identity or something like that. And I thought, no, I'm going to do a Bible verse and see if a kid can say a Bible verse. And we have a guy named Cain who raised his hand, and he's been kind of in and out of church, so he said it, and it was, I don't know what translation it was, but it checked out. It was right on. It was it was what you've done for the least of these, you've done for me. So that's a great verse,
100%.
Great verse. And he walked away $20 richer, and I walked away $20 poorer. I think it was worth it.
Camp.
I think it was worth it. All right, I've got a lightning round of questions for you. Okay, we have some great cooks, right? We got some great cooks.
Fantastic.
Yeah, man, they're in there cooking away.
To get in trouble here.
No, I'm just going to ask you. I'm just going to ask you, like, what has been your favorite camp meal so far? I didn't get this one, but these are like barbecue sandwiches or sloppy joes or something.
Right. Yeah. The pulled pork sandwich.
Pulled pork. Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Not my favorite though.
Okay.
My favorite that we've done it the last like 2-3 years. I think it's mixed up. Last 3 camps we've done this is the like loaded baked potato.
Oh yeah, that's good.
You put some. They do like breakfast sausage, or you just kind of load it up with whatever you want. You get a protein in there. My favorite camp meal.
Yeah,
for sure.
I had the taquitos yesterday. They were really good.
That salsa was good.
Yeah. So good. Which cabin is the rowdiest cabin? Rowdiest. Yeah.
Gosh, man. Cabin 4, 100%.
Cabin 4.
Yeah,
that's pretty generic.
It is cabin number 4.
Okay, cabin 4. Okay,
you know who you are.
All right. What's your favorite camp game or competition? Well, tell us about the flag thing that's going on.
Yeah.
So wait. No, but before you do, I'm going to tell the story. So I'm sitting at lunch yesterday, and one of the girls is like, "Okay, we're going to strategize on these flags," and they're trying to get each team has a color, and they're trying to get the other team's flags. So her strategy was, she said, Pastor Cole, you're going to go over to the yellow team and you're going to say, hey, I'd like to hold your flag. And then you just take it and you give it to us on the blue team. And so I was thinking, I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm doing that. But then you had me host the Bible drill.
Right.
And it turned out with Bible drill that blue team dominated. Yeah. Okay. And that was not because I didn't do anything to make that happen. They were just dominating. And so they got to get the yellow team flag. So I said to the girl, I said, hey, you can thank me and you owe me $1. Yeah. So she literally tried to hand me $1. I was like, no. I said, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just funny that I was a part of that.
So flag game, pretty classic, I feel like, church game. Each team has their flag. They have some incentives to collecting these flags. Who cannot, and rules have been changed and modified, and it's kind of
you gotta fix them as you go along. As they learn new ways to
loopholes, and it's been a whole thing. So you can you can steal other people's flags, but you can't take it from them. You have to kind of trick them, or you have to be holding it. You have to drop it. All these other things. So, and basically, it resets every night. So when it's like cabins, they are handed to me. Everything resets. Yeah, I get them. We keep them. They're not allowed to go in cabins. All kinds of rules. And if you are to take one at each meal, whichever team has the most flags, they get to line up first for the meal time. And then it played out this way. Here we had our, Monday night. We had our night session was on campgrounds, and so the winning team also got to get in first for like worship time and service time. So things like that. It is our leaders are in on it and they're loving it. Our campers are in on it and loving it. So it's been a fun time.
Yeah. So what has been the most memorable moment so far this week?
Your message on Monday night. The message was awesome and spot on and spoke right to young people's hearts and leaders as well. But the response and
the response was powerful.
The moment that you kind of created in that was fantastic.
Well, we were supposed to have an actual bonfire, and there's a
Yeah.
burn ban, which makes no sense. I'm sure somebody will want to explain it to me, but like we've had so much rain,
Yeah.
and so, but we're in a burn ban, so there's no fire. So we had a cross
Yes.
cross set up, but I actually spoke on. I was trying to speak out of the burning bush and Moses' encounter
Yeah.
with God, which would have been even cooler with a fire, and then them being able to set these old labels or names they've been called or identities on fire to burn them and to leave them there. But instead, we had them just set them at the cross and walk away, and then go directly to their leaders and just have some life poured into them, verbally,
Yeah.
encouragement, some, and they was so needed.
Yeah.
So needed.
Powerful. That was the most memorable moment, I believe, in for all of our leaders.
That's true too. It builds up the leaders
Yeah.
because they're able to really make such a difference in these kids' lives.
Yeah.
Where else do you get that? Like, where else do you get that kind of encouragement?
Right.
And it can be life, literally not just life changing, but life saving. So, camp is a powerful starting point.
Yes.
It's not the finish line. It's really trying to build into them so that they take this fire and they go
Yeah.
back to their homes, go back to their schools. How can we keep this momentum going in our church? One of the things that's funny in my experience in old school, it's like you go to camp and you're really super fired up, and camp worship services are incredible, but then you go back to your kind of many times, I hate to put it this way, but the church is seems kind of cold and dead, and there's not a lot of life sometimes. And so we're going to get to go back into a church that is on fire, that is alive. But let's say, what can parents do to encourage their students when they come home?
It's a very, very great question. Ask intentional questions about camp. I think it goes the same route for if you pick your kid up from school. How was school?
Yeah.
Is not a great question.
Did you have a good day? Did you have a good time at camp?
You can't frustrate.
Yeah.
You can't get frustrated when you ask them a question that requires a one-word answer. They're going to give it to you. What are some powerful moments that took place at camp?
Mm-hmm.
How did you see God move in your life or
Those are
your
good.
friends' lives at camp? How were the worship services? Like, what took place? What all did you do? What were some fun activities? What were some challenging moments at camp? These questions, I feel like, people are like, oh, are we really talking like that? Yeah, you should be. Those are questions you should be asking, and you want to be involved in that and keep, yeah. Just
That might be something to send. I know you text parents
right.
all the time.
Yes.
Maybe send them a suggestion.
Yeah.
I was saying, hey, think about asking them some
Our
questions.
has already set that up, and
That's
they're
awesome.
sending some follow-up questions.
That's
Keep the
incredible.
conversation going at home.
That's
Super
awesome.
powerful.
That's
So,
awesome.
yep.
How about our church family? What do you think our church family can do to try to help the students along?
Yeah. Our church is on fire for any generation coming to know Jesus. And I think if your church is not doing that, you got to be doing that. And our church does a phenomenal job with that. And so if you're looking for a place to serve, maybe you're listening to this and you're like, I'm not serving a next gen ministry.
Good.
Or into the
Yeah.
generation, we say next gen, but the now generation.
Yeah.
That's the future of the church. That's the future of our world. Speak life into them. If you have an issue with the next generation, you could continue to be a part of the problem, or you could at least attempt to be a part of the solution by pouring into them and investing in them. So in kids ministry, youth ministry, great way. We have, if you're watching this now, or if you're seeing this on Wednesday, continue to pray. We have a service on Wednesday night. We have a service tonight, Tuesday night. Continue to be praying for these campers and their friends, and that their friends would be eager and ready to be receptive to hearing the story of Jesus.
Yeah. So what are you most excited? The last question.
Okay.
What are you most excited about coming up in student ministry in the coming month, 2 months, or the remainder of the year? What is it that you're most excited about?
I am excited about Invite Night, which is the next Wednesday that we have. I am also excited about I'm excited about the next 3 Wednesdays. That typical youth pastor, I guess. So we have it set up with Invite Night. And then we have something that we call Hot Summer Nights, which is our night of worship.
Church-wide thing.
3 Youth Wednesdays, it's Invite Night. It's something we call 1830 with YNG, which is our young adults ministry. So our seniors, that's kind of their last Wednesday. And then the last Wednesday, which is August 13th, is something we call Unite Night. And that's when our sixth graders come into our youth ministry. And so I'm excited about all three of those.
Man, summer. There's
Yeah.
so much happening. It's a transition point.
Yes.
You wrap some things up, you're kicking some things off.
Mhm.
If you want to know how to support our student ministry, one of the best things you can do is pray.
Absolutely.
Be praying for our leaders, be praying for our students.
Yes.
And we do actually have people, adults, who are sponsoring kids to go to camp.
Yes.
There were several who were scholarships
Yes.
this year. So if you're interested in pouring in financially, you can do that as well. And God's going to use that for a student who otherwise may not be able to go to camp. We don't turn kids away because of money, but we do have to find the financial, resources in order to make all this happen. So, Rowdy, man, thank you so much for taking your time in the middle of camp to come in and let us know what God is doing here at YNG camp. It's always awesome to see. And so I want to thank you so much for joining us for this special episode of the Connect podcast right here. I look forward to, I look forward to seeing what's going to happen in the lives of these students as we move ahead. And I certainly look forward to seeing you very soon. Until then, keep chasing after God's best for your life and be praying for students this week and praying for the remainder of the summer and what God's going to do in these students' lives. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. All right. We'll see you later. Peace.